Good morning, folks. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the BradicalRadical Show. I'm your host, Bradley. Maybe joined by Miss Anzu?
Anzu's just in the back, so don't worry about me.
And today we are continuing our Let's Play of the 7 Districts of Sin. The Tail Makes the Fox.
See, Anzu will show up whenever Brad's just like, my freaking god, and then some horrible, horrible thing is said on this terrible game.
I could be playing a little, just a little known game called Deltarune, Chapter 2. I could be streaming that right now, but you know my internet provider's like, nah, man, have 2 megabytes of upload.
Nah, man, ass.
Have 2 ass of upload.
Have 2 ass of upload.
And what better way to get out my anger than by this bullshit? I don't remember what happened last time. You don't remember. We don't care. Because
that's the fun of it, right? Not remembering.
It takes the vampire no time at all to locate the files to bring them to the small desk that the auditor is occupying.
Whew. That was a workout.
I say, Leos, the only somewhat redeemable character in this fucking mess. His mood has changed a lot. Leo smires from ear to ear, looking profoundly at the pile of files like they're some great lost treasure.
Let me know if you need anything else.
Sure, and thanks.
I'd be happy to explain the filing system again if you...
No. The auditor's head is still spinning from the vampire's first 4 attempts to explain it all to her.
My filing system really isn't that bad, is it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I got it already.
Sure.
Miles picks up the first folder and starts to shuffle through it. She quickly gets to work, marking down the parts she thinks will be useful and making notes on what she can probably skip. She does this for 5 minutes before realizing that Salius hasn't moved from behind her. Is something wrong?
I have been asked to help you.
And you have helped me. I'm fine now, so... Miles slams the folder shut and turns to face Salius dead on. She knows his game, and by the sudden blush on his face, he knows she knows.
He knows she knows she knows.
Were you asked to keep an eye on me?
No, I apologize. This must look bad. I should have said something earlier. I was just thinking of how to best phrase it, and I guess I've been thinking for a long time, and... oh, now I've done something strange.
What?
I want to know what perfume you're wearing.
What?
Your smell. It's strong.
Salius?
And I thought it must be because you're wearing some strange perfume.
Please stop smelling me. Are you saying I stink? Rich coming from someone who smells like an embalmed corpse.
No, you don't stink. You just smell more human than other demons I've met. I know you can get a perfume from some of the markets, but I've never smelled a perfume so accurate before. You smell just like a human.
No wonder they stuck him down here in the records room. He's as all over the place as the filing system. Black markets, perfumes, and humans. What's wrong with him?
I think you smell nice. Like a human. To me.
Do I smell like food to you, or let's stick to business? Yeah, I'll ask if I smell like food. Oh, I get it. This is some vampire pickup line. My Lucifer. Why are all the men in this place coming on to me? So I smell delicious to you. Is that it? Like a cheeseburger or something?
What? No, I mean...
Borg. Miles laughed. She thought that he'd have a bit more game than this. Come and go for cheesy line like, you smell human takes real balls after all. Or maybe you're more a nacho kind of guy.
Nacho.
The fox jokingly jabs Salius on the side with her elbow. She completely misses the look of discomfort showing in the man's pursed lips as every movement she makes fills the air with her delicious scent. So what do I smell like then? Come on, I want to know. What? She's just walking around him tooting up a storm.
He's tooting. Big toots.
The vampire looks away for a moment, knowing that his thoughts shouldn't be said out loud, but he also knows that she seems to really want to know.
A little like a filet mignon with a blackberry and red wine reduction.
He holds his hands over his mouth, trying to hide the clear look of hunger that suddenly swamps his senses. How come we know so much about food?
I used to live with a
You
human
met this
family.
guy earlier, right?
And the mother was an excellent
Yes.
cook.
How come this wasn't
She
a
did the
thing
best
like in the
veal
first
pepperonata.
one you saw her?
I can still taste it to this day.
Only now becoming an issue.
Not that I want to defend the game.
Yeah.
But his boss was present, so
Okay.
it wasn't a time and place type deal.
I get ya.
A dribble of saliva drops from behind Celio's hand and onto Miles' shoulder. Miles looks up to see a gulp roll through the vampire's throat.
But if you have the sense to be like, my boss is here, I probably shouldn't do anything. You should have enough sense to be like, this is a professional situation, I shouldn't do anything.
Right. The fox suddenly shifts nervously in her seat, not knowing how she's going to talk her way out of this one. Family, huh? So you used to live up here, there?
For over 40, maybe 60 years. I didn't keep count. I grew up around humans. Later in life, I found myself in the company of a widower and her 6 children. They were all terrible kids, so I helped her scare some discipline into them.
Do I dare ask how?
They grew up into fine
How
men
now,
and
brown
women,
cow? How what?
but they all died in the war.
He's talking to
Just
me.
like their father.
Yeah.
Their mother never forgave me.
Celio's become silent. He puts his hand on Miles' shoulder, gripping it tightly, tighter than he even realizes. Looking down at the fox girl's frightened eyes, the vampire sees such a human amount of fear in them. He leans forward, getting a concentrated whiff of the nostalgic scent. Miles shoots off from her chair, tails bristling.
Sorry, I guess some things are unforgivable.
She doesn't like showing weakness, and she's annoyed by how much Celio's careless words are affecting her. It can't be helped, though. History can never be erased, and some things cannot simply be apologized for and gotten over. I need some more files from the list. The Batman bows his head and leaves the auditor to her work. When he drops off the files, he doesn't say a word to her. Although, that doesn't mean stray thoughts don't pop up in his head every time he walks by her, or is caught upwind of her scent.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Stop sniffing me! The more times he passes by, the longer he has to unpack all the complex notes of her smell.
Full-bodied, with an intense aroma of forest fruits, almondy notes, and the added depth of caramelized aftertone.
As much as he itches to stay close to Miles and intoxicate himself on her scent. Please don't. He has gone too far and knows it. Vampire tries to make himself scarce until needed. Night quickly comes, and Miles has, much as Celia is surprised, worked through a good portion of the files. She may be a braggart, but at least some of her inflated ego isn't all talk. She's a Bogart? She got a Bogart in her closet?
She's bigger.
Even... what are those again?
A boggart?
Yeah.
They take the shape of what you fear most.
Ah. Even though the whole audit thing is a ruse, she has to make it look believable, right? So she works well into the night until she can barely keep her eyes open.
You should probably head off to bed.
They're the first words the man has dared to speak for nearly 4 hours. The sleepy-eyed Miles smiles up at him, but years of being near Anzu has made smiles untrustworthy to him.
Sorry.
What are you apologizing for?
You're...
Celio searches her face for the look of disgust or horror he still expects, but all discomfort has either been forgotten or worked out of her system.
I'm sorry you've had to work so hard.
It's no problem. I am an expert after all. So this is... Ha! Miles yawns loudly. Vampire chuckles, quickly realizing that all is fine between them once more.
It can wait until morning, can't it?
I don't see you turning in your books yet. I'll work as late as you do. I don't want anyone to think I'm slacking off.
I'm not a fair measure of that. I work antisocial hours at twice the normal price.
Even Anzu's employees have to be overpriced.
I'm pretty lucky to have found this job. It suits me well and pays even better. I just bought a quaint holiday home in the country. Just 600 more years of payments and she'll all be mine.
Yeah, I bet you never get to see this lovely home of yours because you're stuck here working.
You're not wrong. I actually don't remember the last time I was there. But it's still a nice thought to own something.
He's a lot chattier now. Perhaps he's a night person, or maybe it's the guilt. This could work in my favor.
Maybe it's the guild.
Ask about... Kali! So, are you and Kali the only ones who work here, under the governess?
Mostly, yes. Anzu prefers having as few employees as possible. It does mean we have more work to do, but it also means we're more trusted. No one has more of either than Callie, though.
I can imagine. She's probably still working right now, huh?
Possibly. I am certain she's with the governess right now.
They seem very close.
It's like I said, Anzu likes to be around people she can trust. She trusts Callie.
Does she trust you?
If she does, then I shouldn't answer too many of your questions now, should I?
I should probably be off to bed now then. Is it okay if I take these 2 folders with
By
me?
all means. Good night, Miss Gumaho.
Being called a Gumaho takes the girl by surprise, although she can't tell if he's being sincere or simply toying with her. Holding the folder to her chest, Miles leaves without mentioning it, no matter how much she wants to know the truth. Celios looks over his shoulder at the girl, a smile creeping onto his face as the scent of berries and filet mignon disappear alongside her silhouette. It's strangely quiet, almost peaceful on the fox's walk. The fox's walk to the guest room. That's a new one. With everything about her day having been far from normal, she's so very happy to find that her room is plain that she could cry from relief. She's so very happy to find that her room is plain that she could cry from relief. Okay. I'm judging your grammar. Placing the folder she'd taken from the records room on the bedside table, Miles decides to call it a night and lies down. However, her mind just won't switch off. Too many things have happened to her to be able to just roll over and pass out. First, there was Gaki and his constant harassment. He seems harmless enough and probably isn't close enough to anyone inside the palace to be of any use. Miles can't completely roll him out, though, since he was the only one who seemed to tell her anything halfway truthful. Perhaps if she entertained him enough, he'd be open in telling her a lot more gossip. Plus, for a moment, it was refreshing to laugh like that, even though his jokes were bad enough to be made illegal. Then there's Celios. Miles tells her that he's a nice guy, but you can't have a face like that and remain completely void of sin. She wants to trust him.
Have a face like that and remain void of sin?
He's a vampire. What do you want? You're all in hell.
Exactly.
He knows the records room like the back of his hand, but he's strangely loyal to Anzu. The girl just can't understand what about the governess can make someone as sensible as Celia so loyal to her strange ways. Speaking of those who are blindly loyal, Kali is probably just the governess's yapping lapdog. Miles knows the silver-haired girl will never turn on her master, though the Gumiho is hardly one to look down on someone for their gullible loyalty. The biggest problem with Kali is that if anyone knows what Anzu is up to, it would be her. It's just a matter of how to get the girl to turn sides. Yet none of these people compare to Anzu. Dealing with that woman is like playing a game you're destined to lose. But Miles is too much of a sore loser to let that stop her. She's certain that, somewhere within that woman's entangled existence, there's a loose thread that will unravel the whole thing.
Alright.
And then the glory will all be mine. She punches the air, her muscles pulling uncomfortably within her arm. Ow. She stretches out the knots in her arm and cracks the aches out of her shoulders. She's been hunched over a desk for too long, and it's time she called one a night. The girl's premature sense of accomplishment keeps her up for a long time until, finally, her eyelids grow heavy.
Yeah,
Gaki is 369 years old.
That's fine.
And I need water. Sorry, Gaki just makes me so terribly thirsty.
Secret Husbando is older.
And hotter.
And hotter?
Miles tries to yawn away the boredom. She's been searching the shelves for an important file and is confident that she's finally gotten the hang of the insane filing system. But an hour later, and she still has no luck. Erg. I haven't got time for this. The girl knows she's just wasting her time and that any real answers are all safely tucked away in Anzu's office. And there's no chance of me getting in there. She needs a better voice than just my normal speaking voice. She laughs bitterly at the painful truth of it, though that doesn't mean she's giving up. On the contrary, Miles going to get in there and find those... on the contrary, on the canary.
On the canary.
She just needs to come up with a plan to sneak her way in. A good plan, and quick.
A penny for them?
Wow, that was a good plan.
Huh? Celia stands at the end of the aisle with a wry smile and a glass of wine. Isn't it a bit early for wine?
Oh,
Never
don't
early
worry.
for wine.
It's just grape juice.
And I'm just a kitsune. Celia chuckles to himself. What was that for? The man avoids Miles' confused stare and looks down at the glass, admiring the things that wine, like people admire about a swirling glass of wine. What? The man avoids Miles' confused stare and looks down at the glass, admiring the things that wine-liking people admire about a swirling glass of wine. Gotcha. Like the aroma and the swirliness of it. I thought so. And I'm not stupid. I know that's not grape juice.
I assure you it is. Would you like me to prove it?
She almost says yes when Celios takes a long sip of the grape juice. The cooking of the vampire's fangs against the glass reminds her of the uncomfortable conversation they had the previous night. For that reason, she's quick to let Celios' daytime drinking slide. What are you here for, anyway?
To see if you're doing alright. Unless you actually want a penny for your thoughts.
What does that even mean?
Oh, sorry. I assumed everyone knew the phrase, a penny for your thoughts.
Who says that ever? We don't even use pennies down here. The man's blush becomes darker than the grape juice in his hand. Oh, now realizing he's made the same stupid mistake as last night.
It's a human thing, I suppose.
He swallows hard, trying to look less awkward, but failing
I'm
at it.
sorry. I won't do that again.
That's what you said last night.
It was the first thing I thought when I saw you. And you look like you have a lot on your mind. So
We're always oohing.
We're oohing up in here.
I'm sorry. Again.
It's fine. I won't mention it, ever.
Do you need some help? Maybe I can make up for it by...
I'm fine.
I insist. Anything you need.
Miles stares at the pale man long and hard. The word anything can do awful things to his sly mind. The girl bit her lip while thinking it over. Anything?
Of course.
Sure, if you insist. Maybe you can help me. I can't find any of the files from the low-tier collectors.
Low-tier? Why would you be interested in those?
Wait.
I like to be thorough.
That's a very good work
It's not called
ethic
that
to have.
anymore.
I commend you.
It's not?
We've had this conversation. You foolish fool! Celius laughs to himself and then starts to leave. Celia, get him for me! The vampire doesn't answer the girl, forcing her to rush after him and catch him by the arm. The shock in her face, a little too eager to believe the impossible. Seriously? Like, seriously? I can't find them!
Those files are not in the archives.
Then where are they? As if I don't already know!
As if you don't already know. Files that are not in the archives need Anzu's approval to be accessed.
That doesn't answer my question! Celius looks away from Miles, somewhat exasperated expression, showing the fact that he's been trying very hard to hold his breath.
Files that you cannot find here are in Anzu's personal office, and not even I have access to that room.
I understand! Miles lets Celius go, although not without the slight suspicion that he can help her a lot more than he is at the moment. In spite of the awkwardness, Celius sticks around for a little longer, occupying himself with his own work and occasionally leaving to refill his glass. Slowly, Miles finishes gathering all the files she needs. Even though it's only a fake audit, she still wants to do it well. Looking at all the gathered files makes the girl feel a pang of pride. Sanglios!
Pang of pride?
Yes.
Pang is like a hurt.
Yes. Pride hurts.
Pride hurts? Alright, I guess that's why we're in hell.
It's one of those deadly things.
One of those deadly things.
Miles looks around the archives. She didn't hear him leave, and his work is still on his desk. Maybe there's someone hidden around here that can help me bring the governess to justice. The Gumiho wanders closer to Celia's desk, flipping open the first file. She doesn't even get a chance to read the first entry before a cold breeze runs down her back.
I forgot that was a thing.
How may I help you?
The pale secretary looms behind the girl, reaching past her to shut the file. His face is so close that she could confirm that he certainly wasn't drinking grape juice. But that could only do so much to distract her from the mini heart attack she's having. There you are! The auditor tries to sound more confident than she actually feels, sliding away from the desk and Celius. Is there somewhere I could set up a workspace?
I thought you would work here.
So you can hover around me all day? No way! Well, it's dark in here, and I'm so used to having my own space. Oh, and I need a place where there aren't cameras, please! Because of, confidentiality.
That sounds about right.
Really? I mean, of course it does! He's totally gullible, hehehe. Alright, sure, man. Whatever you say, bud. Celius leads Miles down the service hallway and to a small office in the old wing of Kumanoito's palace. There's no keycard reader on the door, and it takes a few kicks before it swings open, revealing a miserable-looking office.
You can use this room for now.
Celius holds his sleeve up over his mouth, shielding himself from the rising dust clouds.
Your request caught me a bit off guard, so I'm afraid this is all we have to offer. You can continue using the archives if this is not satisfactory, of course.
No, I'm sure I'll be fine here, thanks!
That's what you wish.
The Gumiho notices a hard frown on the man's face as he nods his head and then leaves. She doesn't think her request was out of the ordinary. What's his problem?
Governess Anzu.
You're interrupting me, Celius.
Anzu continues with her important task, gazing at her own reflection on the crystal floor even as Celius approaches. It's taken a while, but she's almost reached the conclusion that the right side of her face is better than her left.
Forgive me. I just wanted to inform you that
Sure,
the
man.
auditor has been relocated to the Old Wing's office.
You're no Death the Kid, who's 100% perfectly symmetrical.
100%.
100%.
There are no cameras
100%.
over there.
She
But only
requested the
whenever
Old
he's in
Wing
his avatar
specifically.
state.
Perhaps she knew about that already. Her work is
Huh?
confidential, after
But
all.
only whenever he's in his avatar state.
Yeah.
It seems that she might be more apt at her job than I
know what
gave
that
her
means.
credit
I know you
for.
don't know what that means.
I thought she was just a
It makes me
present
laugh
from
that you don't know what
Lucy.
that means.
Our overlord really did forget my birthday.
With all due respect, my governess, you don't have a birthday. If you did, we would have made the appropriate arrangements to celebrate it.
True, but I would have loved a cute little birthday present from Lucy, no matter what time of year it is.
Do you have any further instructions, governess?
No, though that news has dampened my mood.
Might I suggest a glass of wine?
That sounds perfect. Bring 2 bottles to my office. We can drink them together.
And what of Callie?
I'll send her to check on the fox. She does get a bit boring to be around sometimes. Perhaps a trip to the old wing will ruffle her feathers and make her a little more energetic.
Very well.
Well, at the very least, nothing cursed has been said yet. It's easier for Miles to concentrate. Well, I guess Celio smelling me was a little weird, but not necessarily cursed.
Was he just like passing sense?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like he just walked up to her, put his face in her hair, and just took a big whiff.
Yeah, he kind of did that a little bit.
Okay, but that's weird.
It's easier for Miles to concentrate now that she has a hovel to call her own, ready to do her best for the one true overlord. The happy worker knuckles down and gets right on it. Alright, let's do this! 30 minutes later.
Hello?
Hi, Collie. The door inches open, and a sandwich on a plate is the first thing to enter the room. It shakes in the hands of the small silver-haired girl who's peeking into the office. She had knocked beforehand, but no one answered.
Is she dead? Fox?
Collie lingers by the door. She stands on her tiptoes, trying to see more of the room and peek over the blockade of files on the desk, but still no one answers.
Fox?
She walks slowly into the room. She knows there's nothing to be wary of besides rats and rotted floorboards, but the old wing of the palace still gives her the creeps.
Fox, are you?
Collie slips on a loose piece of paper. Still holding onto the plate, she and the sandwich fall to the ground with a loud crash. The commotion wakes Miles from her nap. Who's there? Standing alert, the fox girl looks around the room, her hands engulfed in flames, and ears twitching as she listens for the intruder.
Out!
The Goomy Hill looks down at the white-haired girl. A snicker becomes a laugh, and a laugh becomes tears of joy at the sight of Collie. The flames disappear as Miles puts her hand to her mouth, trying to stifle the laughter.
Yuck!
Collie rises to her feet and begins a futile attempt to clean herself up. Nothing can help improve the large mustard stain that's now down the front of her dress, though. Nice of you to drop in, but I didn't call for room
This
service.
for Anzu, not for you. I was instructed to bring you some lunch and...
And you decided to wear it instead. Miles' smug face sparks a fire under Collie. Sadly, the girl's not allowed to lay a finger on the other, as Anzu was quick to remind her before she left. So, the only thing her anger can actually do is spark a blush across her pale cheeks. My options are eat the Collie sandwich or don't react. And I mean, let's be fucking cursed with it, of course. At least the best part of it is okay. Miles reaches towards the girl, wide-eyed and off guard. Collie flinches, the lettuce crown falling off her head as she steps back. She stares back, trying to keep her eyes defiant, even though she's really just too afraid to blink in case Miles, supposed gummy hoe, plucks a slab of sandwich meat from the girl's shoulders.
Huh?
Miles licks her lips happily as she swallows the meat.
You beast!
Jesus Christ.
Mm-mm.
Holy shit.
That's a sentence you just said.
And watery-eyed Collie shouts out. She hasn't blinked for the longest time, and still the fright won't let it leave her. A beast? That's rich coming from a girl who looks like a rabbit caught in a cabbage patch. Swan's tongue runs over the front of her teeth. Rabbit stew. Damn, I'd kill for that.
Was that a threat?
What?
You think I'm a rabbit and you're a no-good fox.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that. If only she were a real rabbit and not some pest with a bad attitude. The auditor rolls her eyes, causing the silver-haired girl's face to fill with anger again.
Don't do that.
Don't do what?
That! Are all you foxes so...
I'm not a fox.
Fine. Kitsune, or whatever you call it.
I'm a gumiho, not a kitsune. Big difference.
Where are all of your tails then?
I don't have any more tails.
Then you can't be called a...
I don't need 9 tails to be a Gumiho. I know what I am. I'm the next Hokage. Long pause ensues as both of the girls try to save face and avoid their own haunting insecurities. The room definitely quiet throughout the whole process. Their scowls slacking along with their diminishing prides. Thanks for the sandwich. What was that?
Nothing?
Miles rolls her eyes, but the girl doesn't comment this time. She's already commented enough on things that don't concern her, and yet...
What are you smiling at?
This is the most I've ever heard you say. I guess I'm kind of enjoying it.
Used to it.
The small girl tries to fight back a blush. She knows she should take her own advice, as Anzu always reminds her. The door slams behind Kali. For a moment, she just stands behind the now-closed door and breathes in
I can't
slowly.
let Governor Anzu see me like this!
Her cheeks still burn, and the urge to scream into a pillow makes her whole body tingle. Slapping herself on the cheek, she tries to spell whatever it is gnawing at her mind. The door creaks, and a cold draft blows down the hall. Kali's face glows with fright. Suddenly, she doesn't care if Anzu sees her, just as long as she gets out of the old wing as fast as possible.
I thought we could continue looking over the
Okay.
numbers sent from the ghost town. They've been fluctuating lately. Or maybe we could play a game of checkers instead. We can use the same rules as last time.
The girl's been on edge ever since she came back from seeing Miles. This would have been entertaining if the girl dealt with it better. Instead, she's
My
chatty.
governess?
I'm bored.
Then we can...
Of you, Carly. I'm so bored of you. I need something to excite me.
We don't have to play checkers.
Ugh.
Anzu groans. The more Kali speaks, the more displeased the woman becomes.
I like it better when you're silent.
I am sorry, Governess. I'll remain silent from now on.
And yet, that's still so boring.
The woman suddenly smiles. Kali's whole heart leaps up from seeing Anzu smile so honestly. The only problem is that she isn't the cause of said smile.
Mr. Anzu, did you think of something to do?
The succubus leaves the room without comment, and the girl rises quickly to follow after her.
Stay here, Carly.
The governess shuts the door behind her, leaving the girl alone in the room.
Then perhaps I can... My governess?
Gala tries to open the door, but each time she presses her keycard to the sensor, a red light appears above it.
My governess? My governess, you seem to have locked the door. My... Anzu, please open the door!
The door suddenly stops rattling and becomes still. Kelly lies in front of the entrance, her body curled up to hide her face.
Don't leave me behind!
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Bitches. Miles looks up from her work. Her instincts tell her to stand, but then her pride reminds her that it's only Anzu. However, the auditor is still a ward of the main Hell government, and should therefore act accordingly.
Someone's been working hard. And I love what you've done with the place.
Anzu walks around the room as if she owns it, which she does, but that isn't the point. The point is, the governess has a horrible talent for making places suddenly feel uncomfortable.
It's been a while since I've been in here. No wonder. It is indeed standard at best. Oh, how time flies.
Did you come here for small talk, Governess Anzu?
No, I came for tea, but you don't seem to have any.
I don't really like tea.
That doesn't surprise me.
For a long moment, the woman doesn't say anything, leaving Miles to stand awkwardly while waiting for Anzu's attention to wander back to her, but it never does. The raven-haired woman makes herself comfortable, sitting on top of the desk in a half-lounge, digging her nails into the wood of the object. I'd appreciate it if you'd...
Find anything? Interesting, that is. Though, looking at those files, I doubt it. There's nothing interesting in them.
Anzu casts a mocking grin on the sad pile of files, scratching her nails, growing increasingly loud the longer she stares. Miles remains silent, and Anzu's smile begins to strain under her thinning
You're
impatience.
surprisingly committed to your cause, aren't you? That's just the type Lucy likes to keep around. Workers who are like good, disposable razors. I suppose it's because that one finds them the easiest to toss aside when they're no longer useful.
Then you should understand why I'm eager to get back to my task. Miles keeps her head bowed away from Anzu's prying gaze. Just one crack is all the wiggle room the woman needs to dig her talons in. Fox keeps her head bowed, saving herself from the succubus's prying gaze. Anzu leans in close, but is surprised to see that the girl simply remains on task.
Maybe I'm losing my touch.
But that is what makes new playthings so fun, finding out what makes them snap.
Fox, look at me when I speak to you. Your rudeness doesn't reflect well upon those who raised you.
Miles raises her head and looks Anzu in the face, eye to eye.
You have a keen eye, don't you? How amusing.
Miles' stare doesn't falter, even though her heart feels like it will. She doesn't know how much more of Anzu's prying she could tolerate.
Now, let me ask you again. What has that keen eye of yours found?
Do I be honest or do I lie to her?
Yeah.
I mean, no reason not to be honest. Honestly, I doubt any of it would be interest to anyone. The Gumiho takes the biggest slice of humble pie as she admits her defeat. She isn't some well-seasoned spy. She's just a two-tailed Gumiho who can read boring files very quickly. Besides, being an almighty Gumiho, there really isn't anything spectacular about her. Maybe it isn't a big slice of humble pie, but it's still a start.
Not even Lucy?
Especially not Lucifer. The foxtail droops between her legs, and her ears fall a little flatter. She knows what she needs to do to succeed, but she's not sure that she can accomplish it.
She looks so defeated.
Anzu laughs softly to herself, finishing her little etching on the table.
Well, I had better let you hurry up and finish then.
There is one thing, though. Succubus doesn't hide the falter in her smile very well, but she recovers as gracefully as she moves.
What's that?
One of the files mentions that you were appointing governess only 900 years ago. You were very young when you started. Probably one of the youngest governors to date.
Well, we shouldn't believe everything we read, should we?
Miles and Anzu share a knowing look, one that neither can read but both feel intensely. Anzu bounces off the desk, straightening out her clothes before turning to leave. She makes it all the way to the door before stopping and casts a glance over her shoulder at the now seated fox girl.
I almost forgot the reason I came.
Besides terrorize Collie and poke the fire beneath Miles, that is.
Dinner's ready. Don't be late. We take our seats at the hour.
Anzu gives a short wave, and then the clip-clop of her shoes fades down the hallway. At last, Miles can breathe easily. She rocks her head from side to side, trying to get the tense knots out, when her eye catches sight of the desk Anzu had been leaning on. She gets up, wiping away the curls of wood carvings and dust to find her name freshly scratched into the wood surface. But it isn't just her name. She counts over 16 other names, now well-aged and all scratched into the wood. Is this her idea of a warning? In fact, it's part of a long tradition of Anzu's playful warnings, since not one of those names' owners left Anzu's company unscratched. Well, it's not going to work. Miles is made of tougher stuff. She's close to getting what she came for, and there's no turning back for one so determined. Defeated? Ha! She laughs at the idea. Ha 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 ha!
Alright.
And with that Toby determined laugh, I will go ahead and bring this rather long episode to a close. Nothing cursed happened, so I feel like it was a failure. Other than, say Leo smelling me and then just scarfing down that succulent meat. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, good night and joy be with you all.